roommates, former roommates, current roommates, people that have lived with me in different capacities. This poem was inspired by one who is not here. It's called Regarding Your Girlfriend. Dude, I am so sorry for fucking your girlfriend. I don't know what came over me other than an overwhelming urge to ejaculate unprotectedly into someone to whom you recently declared eternal love and appreciation. Looking at your face right now, I feel guilty about it, believe you me. I feel like I owe you something. You want me to get you a smoothie? Of course, I'm not the only one due an apology. She holds some responsibility too, your little girlfriend there. She's the one suggesting we do it in your bedroom, which I thought was a little weird, but exciting too. You know what I mean? Anyway, I wonder if it would make you feel better to see the pictures we took. I could send you the link if you'd like. Look, in retrospect, I see the error of my ways and have learned my lesson. In the future, I will not fornicate amongst your friends and family, at least without permission. But again, please accept my apologies. I'm sorry for sexing up your girlfriend and your grandma and your son. Thank you. These are relatively new. Also this. No, not this. This one starts with the words "I'm sorry." I think we've exhausted that for the moment. So
go for it.
No, they'll be back. They're returns. There's the opportunity we can come back to hear the hits. And by hits, I mean things I haven't done yet. So the leftovers. Yeah, okay. This is called Polygamy for Beginners. I'm removing all the married women from my Facebook feed. Life's just too short, you know? I don't have time for those uptight bitches who had the bad taste to marry and refuse to fuck anyone but their husbands. I mean, maybe I should give them their due and check if any of their profiles show any likes for extramarital affairs or polygamy for beginners or fucking fat dudes. Perhaps I will find the ladies who have left promiscuous photos up on their sites. I can always use the wank material even if it doesn't take me as far as it used to. These days I used to spend masturbating are now the seconds I fill with regret. But I digress. I am doing some spring cleaning online where it will do me the most good. I am becoming celibate electronically, which is as good as the real thing, virtually. So if you stop seeing my posts and my propositions and my invites for late night meetings, now you'll know why. Unless you've already blocked me, in which case I don't know what you'll think or if you'll even notice my absence. This one is called Right Now. At my last performance, my former drummer.
Where did he?
Well, this is a former drummer. This is a guy. Why are you talking? Why is this? This is a former drummer that is now in California. He hasn't seen me perform in some time. And during this last performance that he saw a couple of weeks ago at my show, thanks for coming, by the way, he said, why don't you have papers anymore that you can throw down? Because that way people will know when you're done. And I said, my writing has improved so dramatically, people can tell when I'm done. So he's my former drummer. Perhaps I should hire him back. This is called Right Now. Shouldn't you be writing? Shouldn't you be holed up somewhere with a pen, pad, and a hat full of thoughts, beating them into submission, hammering their shape into what you require? Shouldn't you be smashing distractions, crushing obstructions, demolishing all delays? Why are you even listening to me speak when you should be sitting in some corner composing to completion? That is what you want, to be the great creator, the dedicated designer of big ideas, the writer dude, and you won't become that on dates or in front of the TV or at work or anywhere away from your writer's desk. So get to it and become what you want. Stop fighting. You should be writing. And though it's not part of the script, this reminds me of a poem that I wrote because Sarah Turk told me to. So I need to find it. It's going to take me a second, so talk amongst yourselves. It's really not going to take me that long, so shut up. And yet now there's dead silence. Look what I've done. I've just confused you far too much. It's a poem I wrote. It's called Fuck You Poem. And it goes just like this.
I love it.
It's really quite good.
It's so good.
Anyway.
It's so cheap.
You really have to turn that mic off. Fuck you, poem. You're not good enough, not clever enough, not beautiful enough to make my point, change the world, win her love. Why couldn't you be better, poem? Why couldn't you have been written with more goodness baked in the lines? Wouldn't it be better if you were more lyrical, more mellifluous, more potent, you stupid fucking poem? Fuck you. Why didn't you improve yourself when I was writing you? Why didn't you get fixed when I edited you? Didn't you know what I was getting at when I wrote you down? Fuck you, poem. I hate you, and I'm never reading you when you're published in my folio. That's a poem I wrote.
Yeah.
I think if you clap that much, the poem's gonna get some bad self-esteem. But that's okay. This is a poem I wrote. It has an appendix. The tree we planted at my boy's birth still grows upward, outward, increasing its influence and health while my boy long ago stopped. His plateau was so long back while that tree continues to climb, and the tree is lovely, and I'm glad we lay that seed, and I'm proud that something I brought into the world had attained such heights, but I just wish it had been my son, and that he'd gotten bigger, stronger, always rising, never coming down, until well after I'd been placed behind. That's a poem I wrote called Sidewalk. I think it'll stand on its own. This is called Vacancy. Did you hear about this? Apparently, Nancy fucked Steve while she was still going out with Sid. It's not like they talked about it, but it's not like they hid it either. Can you believe this shit? I thought they were solid. I thought they were good. I thought that they were a couple you could rely upon when you think of the greats like Frank and Ava, Juliet and Romeo, Bruce and Dick. I was so sure that theirs was a love of the ages, but now I have my doubts. Nancy wasn't true, and maybe that's why Sid had to have it his way. That's a poem I wrote called Vacancy. This is called Gloomy Night, and I don't know if it'll be clear, but I wrote it on the way to an open mic. I go to this open mic at the Sidewalk Café every Monday night.
Yeah! Woo! Yeah!
Hooray. And I wasn't going to this open mic, I was going somewhere else. There was a storm with attendant rains and thunder and forceful gales that the sane would sooner avoid, and you are out and you are driving. You have pierced the eye and you are hurtling well into worse weather because a girl who was cute said maybe she'd meet up with you at this club in Staten Island. You have boroughs to bound through on a gallon of gas and 1 weak windshield wiper. It is stupid, this quest you've begun. You hate Staten Island, but you like the girl's smile and you suspected that she might just possibly like you. Will this be a voyage be worth it though? If you hit a deer or a kumquat or whatever runs loose in these outer boroughs, time will tell. You shouldn't be out and about. You should be home alone with your ancient DVD collection, considering the romantic comedies of yesteryear. Things worked out in those films. Things are safer for the viewer. Nobody dies on a damp, apocalyptic road in the hopes that a girl might smile at him again. You should turn around. You should flee the storm. You should get out of this borough and head back from whence you came, but you won't. It's clear that you're in it for the long haul, for rainstorm and gloomy night. You are off to see that girl. What is it they say about fools and lovers? Maybe she'll tell you. This is a poem called Into the Cause. I wrote it for you. You remember when you did that volunteer work in the barrio by the expressway with the hookers and their diseases and the abuse? You remember trying to convince me how endangered the population was, how oppressed the women were, forced into that life of servitude and sexual degradation? You remember attempting to enlist me into the cause? You do? Do you remember where you used to find those whores? It's just that I'm so lonely and I really need someone to talk to. Also, can I borrow $50? That's a poem I got. This is a poem I wrote. I saw a picture online. I wrote a poem. True story. It's called Lightweight. Alice sits in the motel room with the radio on. Her bottle of sweats is almost done. The AC's out, as are the tenants. Those with day jobs and those still driving the state racing to a destination, they will realize it's one bridge too far and slow, stop, for a rest and respite until the morning. The morn is far off, as is the night, and evening is still some hours away as Alice stands, paces, scuffed heels causing static kinetic energy generating electric across the well-worn, sun-slatted floor. As she pulls on her slippery beer, she ponders. If she leaves, no one would know she'd been. If her visitor ever came, he'd never know when she left. She could live with that. She'd waited for him enough time for little enough reward. She could leave at any time. She could leave at any time, but cannot think where else she'd rather be. So Alice sits, again, dressed to ride in hire, listening to the radio, and waits in the motel room alone. And that was called Rubber Cinema. This is called The Silver Lining.
Not looking good.
It's not looking good. I've spent some fair amount of time striving to drive you from my mind. I looked for where you hid in the recesses of my memory and did what I could to expel you. In some ways, I've done just fine. I cleared out the space you occupied on my walks down Riverside. I no longer think of you in relation to fondue or melon. I no longer want to remember you. See these days, all these days that seem so glorious, considering them now as a painful exercise I wish to exercise from my life. Of course, I'm not in all ways successful. In the increasing darkness that surrounds you in my head, I can see always, shining beacon bright, the day-glow makeup and your random shapes that you painted upon yourself. It burns into my head, these recollections of how you dressed your face to please no one but yourself and how pleasing it was to all. I wonder if you still wear your war-painted peacetime, conquering all before you. I'll bet you do, although I can't get proof since I've forgotten your phone number. That was called Silver Lining. This is a poem that I put on the flyers that I use to promote my shows, which you no doubt have seen. Otherwise, I can't imagine why you'd be here, except to see Steve Espinola, who's on after me, or possibly Steve Stavola, who was on before me. Jon Berger is in the middle of a Steve sandwich.
Yeah.
I'm the meat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
So this was in the flyers, and at least one person came up to me and said, "That's a good poem." And I said, "No, it isn't." And it's called Imagination and Excuses. The boys who promise you the moon are liars or misleaders at the least. If they had moons to offer, why not simply rap and present? It's because they don't have no moon, stupid. They never do. If they had stars in their pockets or even in safes, the gravity would ruin all of their property. The boys with promises have little to provide but imagination and excuses. It is the problem with all boys who are poets and poor and promisers of the improbable. See?
Yeah.
You people are wrong! No, I do not really want to talk about it. Forget I said anything. It's not important. The number of poems and songs I've written about your girlfriend is irrelevant. So are the stories and drawings and photos and films. Also the messages I left her, the letters and texts and emails, and the classes I've started to take. It doesn't matter. I may have had a little crush, a slight flirtation with your girl, but I'm over it. I haven't ordered a gift for her in the last 40 minutes, which, not that I'm counting, may be a new record. My feelings for your lady may once have been, but I know that she's with you, and I would never challenge you, not even for one so fair and fine as Madeline. Trust me, just as I trust you, with the finest treasure known to me. I will stay out of your way until she changes her mind. So contextually, they've begun to realize that when I stop talking, I'm done with this.
Be louder.
What?
Be louder.
Oh, look at that. Turn off the speakers. This is called Golden. Turn off the speakers, the headphones, and the TV and the rest. Let no sounds escape tonight. Close the curtains, don the sunglasses, shutter the stunning sunset, blind yourself to beauty. Let no joy through on this day. Let us wallow, let us stink. Happiness will come again, but not today. Today is for something else. That was called Golden. Thank you. Your applause means the world to me. Stop it. It's been too long and I should know. Since we last met, my vision's gone blurry. Everything that is not you, it appears, is simply not well seen. Colors are muted and my favorite songs seem irrelevant in your absence. Like they are inadequate mono without you to hear them. It's like without you, there is less of the world to absorb or appreciate or interact with. I'm diminishing without you, and that was just from a chance meeting. I'm lost without you, I guess, and hope that you'll soon find me. Please, retrieve this missing package before I lose all of my senses. This is being filmed, so you should applaud louder. Herb, could you see me when I went off mic? What is this called? Oh, this is called Misconnections 1. You were the girl with the giant bazooms, and I was the boy who could not get a word out. I tried, really I did, to pay attention to anything you had to say, but I seemed like a cross-eyed retard, and you seemed really nice. I suspect I missed my chance with you, but I'd hate myself even more than I do if I squandered my chance to be with those two. So if you have an ounce of compassion in your heart, or somewhere in the space before it, could you please give me another shot? That's a problem. And this is called All Apologies, number 1019. Please do not misconstrue my meaning or intent. This is not so much an apology as it is an explanation, though certainly I'm sad that you've gotten this upset. I was drunk, see, and frustrated, and it was our third date, and I didn't want to press the point because that would be inappropriate, but you were not forthcoming. And so when we parted and I saw her at the bar, she looked so much like you. Perhaps I should not have slept with your sister, but she was so lovely, so very like you, only more pliant, limber, and drunk. Was it the right thing to do? No. Was it understandable? Oh, I think so. And would be remiss if I didn't mention that I would have been unavailable had you invited me up. In any case, I hope you're willing to schedule a make-up third date, and if not, could perhaps hand the phone to your little sis? Yeah. This is something I wrote, if I understand correctly, on April 30th, 2012. It's called Toilet Room. Why? Let's find out together, shall we? What a strange bathroom I am going to, and a strange place to be going to the bathroom, and a strange girl in whose house I am urinating. How did this happen? How do these sorts of things ever happen? How did I even arrive upon this creamy ceramic, spilling my gold before I rejoined the lady to whom I've inadvertently dedicated my evening? This sort of scene seems to happen more and more often when I go to that bar on the corner of Seacrest and Pine. The question I must ask then is, do I want this sort of scene to be repeated or repudiated? That will need to be answered, I suspect, at the end of the evening, after I've escaped this curious home with the curious woman, and that can only happen after exiting the bathroom. Flush? I'm really not this lonely. He really is. This is called 6 Digits. The girl that you danced with the night before, I noticed that that's the extent of the gesture I've made. Because there's filming. The filmographer, Herb Scherer, an amazing filmographer, so I'm told by Herb Scherer. He said, you can do whatever you need to do. I'll follow you. I'll do what needs to be done. And I said, no, that's good. That's good. And so instead, I've decided to stay in the same place for the entire performance. It was a good plan.
It's not necessary.
I realize that. Herb Scherer, the amazing filmographer, according to Herb Scherer, has told me that he can follow anything I can do. Instead, what I've done is I've gone from here to here. I'm just saying. Is it the drummer's fault? I think so. I think so. This is called 6 Digits. The girl that you danced with the night before, the girl you made out with in the corner booth at the diner, the girl who gave you a number with 6 digits after talking about her ex-boyfriend and all the drugs he used to do. And did you know where to score some Q? That girl is not right for you. That girl from last night that occupied your restless dreams and your wired visions and wakefulness is all wrong, but all right if you know what I mean, and I'm pretty sure you do. A sensible man would not try to find her. A sensible man would erase her from his hard drive. A sensible man would not try out all final 10 digits of her number in the hopes of uncovering which was hers before realizing that it could have been the first number she neglected or the fifth. And what would have been the area code anyway? And the girl is not right for you. She's just not right. And if you were in your right mind, you would see that. So maybe you'll be in your right mind later. This is one that used to be done with the band. If I had a drummer, this could have been done. Instead, it'll be done. It's about the olden days of Antifolk, back when there were people that I'm name-dropping in this piece that still were around. It's kind of pointless now. It's really quite pointless. It's called The Ballad of Jon Berger. True story, outside of the Sidewalk Café over there on Avenue A. Fenton Lawless and Danny Kelly are out having a smoke because the mayor makes it illegal to smoke indoors, see? And they're talking about Paleface, who hasn't been around for a while. And Fenton, he says, I miss standing out here seeing Paleface ride up on his bike, go on in, and then rock the house. And Danny's about to say, yeah, when out of nowhere a guy rides up, dismounts off his bike and walks into the club. It's not Paleface, though. It's me, Jon Berger. Hey, I'm Jon Berger, king of the scene. Jon Berger looks like Mr. Clean. Jon Berger on his bike machine. Yeah, Jon Berger, king of the scene. So Danny Kelly is still outside smoking. He's at the 4th sidewalk with a cig in his hand, and Joey, Dead Blonde Girlfriend, he comes out with him. Of course, now he's just called Joey because his band is Dead Blonde Girlfriend, and he gave up his nom de jure for the cause. It's nom de guerre, if you know how to pronounce it in French. I don't. The two of them are smoking and talking about acts that used to play the open mics but don't anymore. You know, I don't think I've seen Hamill on trial for years, Joey says. He was such a big influence, even though he had bald hair, even though he was bald and I have this luxurious black hair. And do you know who else is bald, Joey continues? John S. Hall. You might not know because he always has that hat on, but goddamn, he's a good poet. And suddenly, emerging silhouette style from the recesses of the club is a shiny, bald head. Is it Hamill? Is it Hall? Hell no, it's Yonatan Ben Yehuda. Jon Berger. Hey, I say. I'm Jon Berger, lord of all I survey. Jon Berger, in this town I hold sway. Jon Berger, people think I talk gay. Jon Berger, lord of all I survey. A couple of hours pass, and Danny Kelly is still outside, or outside again. I guess you'd have to be there watching to know for sure. He's puffing away and he says, yeah, it's about time I've had something to say. I've been in this piece from the very start, and all I've done is hold up the wall and then give reaction shots. What is this bullshit anyway? It seems like a wank job for that Berger guy, just talking about himself, making himself look big in a company of equals. This whole Antifolk community, it's about sharing, it's about communication, it's about listening and responding to art at an intrinsic level, and here we have some overgrown poet guy trying to paint himself as the center of the attention, the master of all that goes on. What ego? What pretense? And that's about when it starts to rain and thunder and lightning. Swear to God, lightning strikes just inches from where Danny was standing a minute ago before he went under the awning to stay dry. Shit Danny's about to say when Jon Berger, who is me, he walks outside, looks up and he says, stop! The rain stops. And Berger, he says to the heavens, oh, it's no big deal. He was just expressing an opinion. And then he goes back in, and the soundtrack swells, and then God sings back up on this, the final chorus. Jon Berger, that's who I am. Jon Berger, God love him and damn those who disagree with his righteous plan. He's a good man, Jon Berger, that's who I am. That was the Ballad of Jon Berger.
Yeah!
You people need help.
Help us.
I really... It's going to take me a minute. I'm going to do something from memory, and I'm going to do something that I stole from Steve Espinola. What? You may know about this. Maybe you don't. Baby, I'd do anything for you. I would climb the highest mountain, I would swim the deepest desert, I would drink the darkest draft. You got it, baby. All you got to do is ask. My love for you is so great, I would swallow the biggest spitball. I would argue with the toughest motherfucker. I would douse myself in the sweetest honey and then go looking for the nearest beehive. You hear what I'm saying? I'm crazy about you, baby. Crazy, crazy. I'm going to go out right now, wearing the loudest outfit, going over to the dirtiest part of town and then tell them that none of them are quite so fancy as me, and I will do this just for you. Just for you. Just for you. Look! You tell me the word and I will take candy from a baby, but not just any baby. That prince of Zaire, that reactionary little country where stealing from children is tantamount to suicide. All you have to do is say the word and I am off to Zaire. Try me, baby. Try me. Try me. Look. I love you. This you can't deny. I've got the love for you. I've got the love for you. Do you get it? You got it? Good! No, shut up and give me that damn pizza. That's not one I stole from Steve Espinola. That's one really is just a title. He has an amazing song from the 90s. Jeez. Called Love Song While Running Away. This is called Poem While Running Away.
Yeah.
Hooray! It's really quite good. I know you've had 4 hours sleep, and I know you've got better things to do, and I know that you need time not to think, and I know you're really, really busy, and I know you don't know my full name, and I know you couldn't care less about it, and I know you've got a boyfriend in every major city, and I know these thoughts must make you nauseous. And I know I'm too short, and I know I'm not successful enough, and I know I'm not strong, and I know I'm not sure, and I know too little, but would you have dinner with me? No, wait, I know the answer. I wrote that one.